This man unluckily slipped and fell down from a high cliff, landed into a swamp. He was struggling to get out of the swamp. The more he tried, the deeper he got into the swamp. He tried to raise his hands, but his fingers were 1 meter away from the nearest branch. So now he could only prevent himself from sinking deeper. This moment, he saw 2 weasels looking at him from a tree. So he asked them for help, but they did not understand and kept looking at him from the tree. The man got deeper and deeper. He used his desperate look to ask the weasels for help again. Finally, they understood. They started to nibble the branch. The branch slowly lowered down. This man could finally grab the branch. Such a relief when he climbed back on the ground. But he did not know one of the weasel fell down to the swamp. He tried to swim, but the faster he swam, the deeper he sunk. Then he was buried under the swamp. The other weasel was worried and kept looking down the swamp. At this moment, the man knew the situation. He saw some moves on the swamp. He shoved his hand into it. After a while, he finally saved the weasel. He felt relief and smile, then cleaned all the mud on the weasel, and told the weasels, "This is my territory, the best way is to follow me." Then the man put 2 weasels in his pocket, and continued his adventure. From now on, the man had 2 guards, 2 weasels on each side of his hip. While he was on his way, the man felt dizzy. In his head, there was a lot of odd images. He was chased by a lot of people, and was tied on a pole with a rope. The man woke up when the images disappeared. He quickly stood up, and headed to the peak of the mountain. Ever since he had the 2 weasels, the man became stronger. He went all the way up to the top without any rest. He looked down and saw a panther being hunted by hunters. It turned out, the previous images were not a hallucination. They were the signal that the panther sent to him, asking for help. He took out the 2 weasels, and built up the attacking strategy. Then he went down and fought with the hunters. At this moment, an enemy appeared behind the man's back. He suddenly let out a huge roar. A black hawk stormed down. Using his claws, attacked the cavalry. The 2 weasel also quickly participated in the fight. They stole the bow of the archer. When the archer found out, he took out his dagger. The man now also took out his sword, fought back the archer. The archer was stabbed and fell down on the ground. The man shot the dart to cut the rope. The black panther escaped and furiously attacked the enemy. The man drew back his sword, and intended to leave. Then he found out that the black hawk was still flying around, but the black hawk wanted to follow the man. The panther also came, wanted the man to be the leader. The man is Zan. He was born with a gift that enabled him communicate with animals, but because of this gift, he was discriminated. Human were killed by the evil. He was the only one to escape. Now he brought his beast's army with him for a revenge. A black panther stormed out from the woods, proudly shaking his head, made the girl scared. Suddenly, a man appeared behind her and held her tight. He comforted her a bit to calm her down, then slowly leaned forward. The leopard still looked fierce. He started to show off his muscle body, even didn't forget to look at the girl with a proud look. The panther was scared by the man, knelt down slowly. The man signaled the panther to leave, but the panther did not understand. He had to roar, then the panther left. Finally, with the help of the panther, he successfully impressed the beauty. He came towards her, tried to flirt a little bit, but unexpectedly, she was shy and walked away. The man was upset because he could not impress the girl. He could only stroke the panther next to him. Then he asked for the opinion of 2 weasels. So the man rode the panther to find that girl. The night fell down. The man came to a mountain which had a weird look. He fearlessly stepped inside. Lanterns and fire lighted up the inside. The hanging lamps created a dim light. He touched one of the lamp. He discovered that there was a man inside. Feeling something unusual, turned around to look. Immediately found out a bunch of bird men gathering behind him. Zen took out the sword, broke the light, and saved that man. The lucky man quickly ran away, but he was caught by the big wing of the bird men. Shortly after, a green liquid appeared under the bird men's feet. That man was killed. Zan was ready to fight with his sword. Bird men surrounded Zan. Zan and the panther started to worry. Suddenly, the black hawk came and landed on Zan's arm. The bird men immediately stepped down. Then, the black hawk flew around and landed on the top of the god statue. The bird men knew that the bird god appeared, so they all stepped aside. Black hawk led the way and flew out. The bird men knew that Zan was the bird god's guardian, so they all stepped aside. Zan carefully walked step by step. Suddenly there was a birdman blocked the way. The birdman would not hurt Zan. He handed Zan a mysterious card. This mysterious ring had a magical eye. It connected to a faraway mirror. The eye moved around, observed everything around. Suddenly it spotted a scene. The leader said, "Kill him." A rope was tightly covered on a man's neck. He tried his best to pull the rope out, but he was still tightly squeezed. His body was floating in the air. When was about to suffocate, a black panther appeared behind. The panther rushed forward and killed a soldier. The man and the panther could understand each other, so they chased other soldiers. He knew that runaway was not the best choice, so he decided to attack. He disguised himself and went into town. This moment, the leader was holding a baby, standing on top of a pyramid. Suddenly he threw the baby into the fire, made the baby a sacrifice. Then there was only a white smoke coming out. The leader was not satisfied. He chose another baby in the crowd. This baby was brought up to the pyramid. The leader lifted the baby up. The baby was thrown down, rolling down the steps. This moment, Zen used his gift. He called a black hawk to save the baby. Zen asked the 2 weasel remembered the baby's scent, then following the scent to bring the baby home. In the second day, the amount of baby boy in the town was not enough. The leader decided to use women for the sacrifice. Zen recognized the girl he met in the woods, so he rode a horse and quickly rushed to the girl. Zen came up the pyramid with his sword. Zen was in the weaker side. After a while, Zen almost got killed by the leader. Finally, Zen turned the fight around and saved the girl, but the leader was awake. The two weasels saw him. They jumped onto the leader, kept on biting his neck. He fell down the pyramid and died. Suddenly the evil army had come. All people quickly prepared to defense. Zen threw the card to the Black Hawk to find helps. The battle happened until night. The local people was suffered from big loss. When they were about to lose the fight, the Birdmen army finally came. The Birdmen used their superpower, opened their wings, sucked all the enemy inside, then killed them. The enemy were all turned to white bones. The fight was ended. Zen not only revenge, but also won the people's support. But he was not into land or power, he only cared about his beauty. Finally, Zen took his woman to travel everywhere.